Hey folks, this is Nate coming at you. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. So today I wanted to um, show off the StarFall Legacy that just came back from my installer with a Proffi 3.9 board and a Smuggler's Outpost 28mm speaker and a Shtok V3 NeoPixel pin setup. This is a beautiful, beautiful install that he did for me on an already beautiful Saber. So I'm totally ecstatic about this. So now this is this chassis is sort of a mishmash. So what ended up happening was when I first got this Saber, Albert Flores from Smuggler's Outpost was announcing that he had chassis, both STL files and printed chassis available for sale for this specific hilt. And this was before I had sent this off to Carlos to get installed. So I sort of jumped the gun and I went ahead and bought a chassis from Albert, who sent it to me. So by the time I sent this down to Carlos, I already had the chassis included with the hilt. And what I didn't know was that Carlos was sort of producing his own chassis. But what ended up happening was we sort of worked this out where he basically he looked at Albert's chassis and then just made a couple of minor additions to it in ways that he, to sort of accomplish what he wanted to do. So this chassis is sort of a mishmash between Albert Flores and Carlos. So it's a very, very nice chassis. Then, by the way, the base chassis that Albert does is really good. So if you are out there and you have one of these 50 hilts, and you're wondering where to go to get a solid chassis for it, check out Albert Flores on Smuggler's Outpost on Etsy. He has some really nice ones. I think Carlos is actually selling these on his site as well. So you can check out Kessel Customs as well. I believe he's also making these. I don't know if he's just providing the STL files to print, or if he's actually selling the printed version as well. But anyway, so we've got these. I think it's either a 10 or a 12 LED blade set up here, and then we've got another LED accent setup right under here. And then we've got accent pixel strips up top on the pin setup underneath the blade. It's a very, very nice setup here. This 28mm speaker. And then we've got the kill switch, which is right in here, which again, one of the things I do like about Carlos's installs. I like where he puts this kill switch because it's sort of nice and out of the way. It's a very non-invasive location for the kill switch. And then this is a removable battery. There's no recharge port, which is totally fine with me. And so what I'm going to do here real quick is I want to remove the blade just to, oh, that's right. So the blade retention is actually this guy right here. It took me a minute. I had to go back and watch Nick Cohen's original video on this Legacy to remember where the blade retention was. So the blade retention is just this screw here, which is really cool. So that basically means you can open up the Saber, replace the blade without any Allen keys whatsoever. Don't need any of that. So, and then we got I think this is an 7 or 8 pixel setup up top. Then you've got one down here, and then 2 on the side here. So this is actually, I think this is the same as this. These LEDs are wired the same. So what this is a 4-blade, 2-button Proffi config, and this is using a Proffi 3.9 board. And so I will let's put this back here. And then also a couple things about the actual design of the saber itself. You know, those of you familiar with Nick Cohen and Starfall, he just does fantastic craftsmanship on these things. So this is the grip section, and this grip section material is really, really nice. It's really easy, very comfortable to hold. And as I mentioned before in my first video, when I said the saber sort of looked chonky, it's not at all. It actually grips really, really nicely. It's not like super thin, but it's a very nicely sized saber. And so this pommel cap comes off, and the weight. So the thing I wanted to mention about this thing is the weight on this pommel cap is just perfect in terms of balance on the saber hilt itself. Again, when I first got this and sort of pulled it apart, my thinking originally was that this pommel cap feels, you know, a little heavy, but when you assemble it all together, the weight on this saber is absolutely perfect. So balance on this hilt is right about there. See if I can get it to. It's going to be hard to balance just on my finger, but so the balance is like somewhere right literally in the middle of the saber, which is perfect. And so, you know, when you're swinging it around, what that means is it makes it actually really comfortable to just hold on the bottom end, because as long as this saber it's sort of designed to be a one-hander. I mean, you can two-hand it, but you've got the buttons right here, and they're sort of in this control slat here, so you can hold your fingers over it, and you won't accidentally push the buttons, which is, you know, also a bonus. But it's really not designed for it to be a two-hander. It's really designed to be a one-hander, and it's perfectly comfortable to one hand. And then this little part here, you know, serves as, you know, sort of like a mini choke point here. So let me put the blade back in real quick. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Not only is this a nice high quality saber, and it's, you know, just ornate enough. Like, I mean, all of the decorative work on this is just really beautiful. But, you know, with Nick's designs, it isn't just the ornateness. A lot of this stuff has a function too. He's a very he builds a lot of function into his accents on his sabers. You know, he doesn't just put things there to make it look pretty. A lot of the stuff, you know, has a purpose. So let's see, let's tighten this thing up. And this is also really easy to tighten and loose, so the threading was done really nicely on this.
A Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense.
Now, the one thing I still have to get used to is sort of how the buttons are aligned, because I'm not used to having them sort of on the right side of the grip. I'm used to having them on the left side. So what that means is a lot of times when I'm holding the saber, I basically just cock it back to where the fins are pointing down, and then I can get to it with my thumb really easily there. Very nice, deep, rich sound resonance coming out of here. So what I will say is, while this saber is not as loud as some of my other sabers that have 28 millimeters, the quality of the sound resonance that comes out of here, it's very deep and very rich, and I hear every fraction of every note that comes out of here.
Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial...
You still have much to learn, my young apprentice. I foresee you will become a great Jedi Knight.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
Farewell.
So, see, what else? A couple other things here. Yeah, I love how easy it is to manage the saber without any Allen keys. That's a big plus for me. Also, really nice blade insertion depth here. We're looking at least almost 3 inches, I want to say. Yeah, so it's about that much. So it's at least 3 inches, which is, you know, again, really nice for securing a blade and for swinging around. So as nice as the saber is and as rare as it is, this is not going to be sitting on the shelf. I'll probably be using this for some demos, because it's just so easy to access everything, and to play around with. So, and then what there was one other thing I wanted to mention about this. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. Well, the other thing too that I wanted to mention too is like these accents. Again, with Nick Cohen's, like his design eye, the way he sees aesthetics on a saber. You really just can't go wrong with any of the things that he designs. And so, for example, you know, this anybody could have, who knows how to build a saber, could have made just sort of like a baseline scrap flex that looks really nice. But you know, with Nick's touch here, for example, with the accents on the top and bottom that matches the accents on the ears, that matches the accents on the LED clamp, on the switch clamp here. It also matches, you know, on this button that matches these buttons. It's just a beautiful design. And then this design here on the venting, instead of doing 3 straight slats, he does a curved and then a straight in the middle, along with some other hidden venting here on the sides. Oops, this one comes off too. But some hidden venting here on the sides that is provides for like additional sound venting that you can't really see right away, which is just really cool. I forgot that this thing comes off too. There it is. All right, there we go. The only downside that I will say, and I even hesitate to call this a downside because I love this so much. The only downside I will say is, so after swinging it around for a bit, you may find that this thing loosens every once in a while, that this thing just comes a little bit loose. When I was sort of swinging it around last night after setting up this config, I noticed that every once in a while this thing would loosen up. And so what I would say is that if you do use this, sort of swinging it around with your blade styles or whatever, before you do it, make sure that this is twisted on tightly, right? And then you should be fine. But if you don't twist this on super tight, it may come off as your palm is sort of moving around. It may loosen it up a little bit. Not enough to make it fall off, or anything like that. But just you'll start to feel it sort of moving with your palm, and then at that point you just want to make sure and twist it fully tight. But other than that, this thing is perfect, absolutely perfect. So Nick, thank you as always for designing such a beautiful saber, and Carlos, thank you so much for another awesome bang up install job, and also thank you to Albert for providing a really nicely designed chassis for these sabers. And again, this one is 22 of 50, yeah, I couldn't be happier with it. I feel very lucky that I got in on this run. I will definitely be cherishing this thing. This hilt is going nowhere. All right, y'all, take care. And on the next video coming up, I will be reviewing the KR Sabers Thrawn Hunters that came back to me installed pretty much the same time this one did. So that will be on an upcoming video. All right, y'all, if I don't see you before, have a great New Year's, and stay safe and have fun. All right, take care.